The monster in the neighborhood. The security footage was unmistakable. Margaret Hensley, president of the Willow Creek HOA, stormed into my daughter's preschool hallway, her heels echoing like gunfire. Her face was a mask of cold determination as she grabbed my 4-year-old daughter, Lily, dragging her across the parking lot and shoving her into the back of her pristine Lexus SUV. "She's mine now," Margaret hissed, her voice dripping with delusion. What she didn't know was that she'd just kidnapped the daughter of a state-level undercover detective, Daniel Harper, a man trained to dismantle cartels, hunt predators, and burn criminal empires to the ground. In less than an hour, FBI helicopters would swarm her world, SWAT teams would kick down her doors, and the full weight of justice would crush her warped fantasy. This is a story of a suburban tyrant's descent into madness, a father's unrelenting fight, and the chilling truth that monsters don't always hide in the shadows. Sometimes they run your neighborhood. I'd noticed Margaret's odd behavior for months. From my home office in Willow Creek, a quiet suburban enclave outside Raleigh, I'd watch Lily play in our front yard at 3:15 p.m., her blonde curls bouncing as she chased fireflies. Margaret would linger across the street, clutching her HOA clipboard like a shield, her eyes fixed on Lily. "She's such a darling," she'd say when I greeted her, her smile too tight, her gaze too still. I'd nod, keeping it polite, but my gut churned. 8 years in narcotics had taught me to spot obsession, and Margaret's was growing. She started leaving gifts, stuffed animals, frilly dresses, even a card signed, "With love, Mama M." I installed motion cameras and kept Lily closer, my instincts screaming that something was wrong. The day it happened, the school bus was late. For minutes, maybe 5, but enough to make my skin crawl. When it finally pulled up, Lily wasn't on it. The driver, Mrs. Callahan, stammered. "She was picked up early by your emergency contact, Margaret Hensley. She had paperwork." My world tilted. I called the preschool, my voice shaking. "Sunbeam Academy. This is Tara," the receptionist chirped. "Where's my daughter?" I demanded. Silence, then panic. Margaret picked her up. She knew everything: Lily's allergies, her teacher's name. I didn't wait for more. I grabbed my badge, Glock, and vest from the safe. Margaret had crossed a line she'd never uncross. She'd taken my daughter, and I'd tear the world apart to get her back. The GPS pinged Margaret's SUV on Highway 32, heading north. I didn't wait for backup. I knew her type: calculated, not impulsive. She'd want a secluded spot to play out her sick fantasy, and Pine Hollow, an abandoned summer camp 20 miles away, was the only place that fit. I called in a code Bravo 9 officer's child abducted, unleashing a storm of federal resources, but I wasn't waiting. I sped through the dusk, the woods closing in, my heart pounding with one thought: Lily. At Pine Hollow, fog curled through the pines, and the air reeked of mildew and something sweeter, like cheap perfume gone sour. I moved silently, spotting a man in black tactical gear, smoking near a cabin. Margaret had hired a muscle. My blood boiled. I took him down with a chokehold, leaving him bound behind a shed. A second guard muttered about keeping the kid quiet. I snapped his wrist and slammed him into the dirt, my boot on his throat. "Touch my daughter, and you're done," I growled. Inside, I heard Margaret's voice, soft and sickening. "There, sweetheart, no more chaos. Just you and your real mommy." Through a window, I saw Lily, tears streaking her face, wearing a dress Margaret had left at our door. Rage consumed me. I kicked the cabin door off its hinges. Margaret spun, startled but smug. "Daniel, I knew you'd overreact." My eyes locked on Lily. "Get away from her." Margaret stepped closer, patronizing. "She needs a mother, not a broken cop." I didn't hesitate. I charged, slamming her into a bookshelf. Glass shattered, a photoshopped photo of Margaret with Lily in a park. She shrieked. "You hit me." I grabbed her collar. That was restraint. I threw her across the room, knocking over a tray of cookies probably laced with her madness. Lily whimpered. "Daddy." I knelt, pulling her close. "I've got you." Margaret scrambled up, bleeding, her perfect bun unraveling. "She's mine. You're just a failure hiding behind a badge." I closed the gap, driving my fist into her stomach. She crumpled, gasping. "You forged documents, hired thugs, stole my child." I spat, slamming her face against a doorframe not to kill, just to break her delusion. She collapsed, blood pooling, still muttering, "She's mine." Sirens wailed outside. SWAT stormed in. I held Lily as agents cuffed Margaret, her smeared lipstick like a clown's mask. You're done, I said. You tried to steal my daughter. Now I'm taking your world. The courtroom was packed, neighbors, parents, cops, all watching Margaret Hensley shuffle in, orange jumpsuit clashing with her defiant smirk. On day 3, she took the stand, chin high. I didn't kidnap her, she declared. I saved her from a neglectful father. Gasps rippled through the room. Her lawyer pushed insanity grief. Delusion, but the evidence was damning. Forged papers, Lily's schedules, a draft petition to rename her Lily Hensley. When my turn came, I faced her. You stole 3 hours of my daughter's life, I said, voice steady. You lied. You planned. You broke her trust. She flinches at doorbells now. You're no Mother Uri, a predator in heels. The judge's gavel fell. 28 years, no parole for 20. Margaret screamed, no, as bailiffs dragged her away, her crown shattered. In prison, Margaret faded fast. Her pearls were gone, her nails clipped, her hair gray and limp. She tried to rule the yard, demanding a bunk or a shady spot. A tray of oatmeal hit her chest. Mommy issues, the inmates called her. She scribbled in a journal, she loved me, and clutched a yarn doll named Lily. She begged to write Lily an apology. It landed on my desk. I burned it, writing back, you get silence. Lily heals, you rot. I never sent it. By month 8, Margaret was a ghost, muttering to mirrors, smearing toothpaste on pillows. A newspaper with Lily's photo smiling at the Lily Harper Child Recovery Center's opening sent her screaming, thrashing against her cell's walls. No one cared. 2 years later, Willow Creek glowed with pride. The Lily Harper Child Recovery Center stood on a grassy lot, balloons bobbing, cameras flashing. Lily, now 8, held oversized scissors, her eyes bright. She still had nightmares, hated frilly dresses, but her smile was fierce. At the podium, she said, a lady told me my daddy didn't want me. She was wrong. He saved me, and now we're helping other kids. The crowd roared. I wiped my eyes, prouder than I'd ever been. Back in prison, Margaret saw Lily's picture in a discarded paper. She was mine, she whispered. No one looked up. At the center, Lily cut the ribbon, cameras flashing as kids cheered. She hadn't just survived, she'd built something bigger. Margaret hadn't stolen a child. She'd created a legacy she'd never touch. This isn't just about one woman's madness. It's about power rotting in plain sight, about protecting kids from smiling monsters, about a father's love outlasting evil. Margaret thought she could rewrite the family, but she only wrote her ending. Lily's story isn't a scare, it's a beacon. What do you think? Was justice served, or did it go too far? Should I have shown mercy, or was Margaret's punishment right? Share your thoughts in the comments, especially on violence and injustice in our world. Stand up, speak out, and let's keep fighting for what's right.